And we're back for episode 12, number 12 of
Crazy.
Queensland League Scene. We're going to talk about the semi-finals of the BMD Premiership this weekend, round 10 of the Hostplus Cup, and more. Can't wait.
Can't wait. All right, mate. BMD Premiership is coming up this weekend, semi-finals, and round 7 finished last week. We'll come to that later on. But first up, last weekend's footy games. Mate, you're tipping.
Yeah, look, I've seen better days in terms of my tipping. I think I've dropped a few this weekend, and one I definitely dropped was Friday night. I backed the Cutters over the Seagulls, but they lost 28-10 to the Seagulls.
That's a good win to the Seagulls. We've spoken highly about the Cutters' home ground advantage up there at BB Prince Stadium, and the Seagulls, they're starting to get their roll on, aren't they? Against quality sides like the Cutters away. So that's a good win for Adam Bryson's boys, and they stay firmly in the top 8.
Yeah, the Magpies and the Tweed Head Seagulls game was postponed due to the wet that we all experienced for the past couple of weekends. Then, of course, the mighty Redcliffe Dolphins got the job done down there at Bycroft Oval over the Hunters.
Once again, a Sata stormed the change rooms at Roycroft for the Dolphins to get their back-to-back wins. Is that their first back-to-back wins?
Back-to-back. Drake's got a song about that. How good.
Well, let's not hear that. Hunters, unfortunately coming back after a win the week before. The Jets, absolutely pumped by the Blackhawks at home. Not surprising. You had a reason to believe they were starting to build nicely, but they're a good side, the Blackhawks, and they had to get back on track after last week.
Yeah, they did. Blackhawks are a quality side, and quality sides don't lose 2 weekends in a row usually, but I had a good feeling about the Jets. Unfortunately, they went down, so Jets still looking for their first.
Capras really pushed the top of the table Bears. This is at McIndoe Park at Emerald, so well done to the Capras, but unfortunately the Bears remain near the top of the table. They're a quality outfit, the Bears, away or at home.
Yeah, look, the Burleigh Bears, I seem to say it weekly, they've been one of the standouts for the last couple of seasons. Capras, of course, newcomers into the top 8 for this year and have been on a roll. I thought they might have got it done in Emerald, ambushed them a little bit, ambushed the Bears, but unfortunately for the Capras, they just fell short.
Somebody tell me what's going on with the Pride and Ty Williams' boys. 1 week you think they're going to beat somebody, the next week they get rolled, and here they hold the Falcons 22-all against the form side from mine of the competition, the Falcons. Unbelievable. Ty Williams must be absolutely cock-a-hoop.
Yeah, it would drive me nuts as a coach to see performances where they were probably lackluster and just weren't at their best at all, and then they pull out this cracker of a game and they just can't ice it with the last couple of minutes to go. So it would have been a cracker game out there at Barlow Park in Cairns, and I no doubt a few blokes in Gilligan's after.
The Premiers, the Devils, 28 points to 16. Producer Kel is, he's actually not here today. He's still in, one last phone call. But the Devils, back-to-back losses and a very comprehensive win to the Tigers.
Yeah, the Tigers, of course, bounced back from that loss to the Sunshine Coast Falcons last weekend in that feeder club clash.
Yep.
They got pushed to the limit. Jaden Nikorima said it was one of their best games to be involved with. So you're always taking positives out of that, even though there was a loss. And then I think the Devils may be starting to feel the pinch of Rowan leaving. Of course, midweek we found out Brendan Fry is off to the Cowboys. Congratulations to Brendan. But with a couple of blokes missing, we may see a little bit of a slip over there at Bishop Park.
Look, yes, you can say that about with Rowan up there, but this is a quality side, the Tigers. The 28 points that they put on against North is showing that the Tigers are contenders this year. They seriously are. And I think this is going to really buoy them. Last year they got decimated by injury. This year they're responding. I don't think they've gone back-to-back and lost this year, have they, Kel? Because it's just been a quality outfit that John Buchanan tried out. Beale, Nikorima, we talked about their forward pack. Bennett Leslie's trying to get any side that hasn't got Bennett Leslie in there must be going right up the middle.
Yeah, they do. They have a really strong forward pack, the Tigers. One thing that's impressed me is the games where they play good footy, their outside backs are going well. BJ Afuamunga scored a try and he's their goal kicker as well. He had a quality game for them on the weekend. So, yeah, the Tigers are a quality outfit. It's not just that the Devils are missing who they have, but the Devils of last year and the last couple of seasons, they iced those games.
Yeah,
so,
and they've got a target on their back always, the Devils.
Well, they do.
The Premiers.
You win a competition and everyone wants to get one over you. The Tigers are certainly proving to be all that in 2022.
All right, BMD Premiership. You've had the pleasure of calling a couple of games for the BMD Premiership. All wrapped up last week, and weekend with round 7. We'll kick-start the Stars finishing third. Too good for the Tigers, and they'll keep them scoreless. It's a pretty good effort from the Gold Stars, especially away from home.
Yeah, the Tigers bow out of the competition to a very strong Gold Stars side who have been dominant all season, really. So no real surprises in that scoreline. I thought the Tigers might have fought a little bit harder with the season on the line, but that wasn't the case over there at Leo Williams.
Well, this is a bit of a surprise if you look at the ladder. The Capras undefeated. I spoke to their captain, Mariah Storch, last week, thinking they'd go in undefeated. Kiss of death, that was my fault. But the Bears, well, they're no strangers to actually beating the favourites. South, 2 years in a row, undefeated until the grand final. The Bears beat them to win that. So the Bears are a quality outfit. And they've got Talisha Harden, Jasmine Kemp, Corinne, it's just a galaxy stars. But the Capras, probably maybe the loss they needed, maybe. But they've secured a minor premiership, but still well done to the Bears. Too good.
Yeah, sometimes it is the loss that you need, especially this close to the semi-finals. You can have that loss, regroup. It's hard to know your flaws if no one's exposing them. And I guess for the Capras, hopefully a few of their flaws got exposed on the weekend and they can take those lessons into the semi-final. If they don't take those lessons into the semi-final, the whole competition's seen those errors from the weekend and they may be exposed again.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be a shame for them to go into the final and just get bundled out in the first week and not make the grand final. Bottom of the table clash here between the Magpies and the Seagulls. Look, it doesn't matter whether it's first versus 2 or 7 versus 8. You got a scoreline like that, you got a quality game of rugby league. Seabus Stadium, 24 points to 22. The Magpies finish with a win.
Yeah, quality of game that was matched with the quality of field playing in the middle of Seabus Super Stadium this match. It's unfortunate that both of these sides never really hit their strides in 2022 and 2022, 24, 22, how funny. But it'll be interesting to see how they go next season. Yeah,
Magpies back in the competition after dropping out last year, and the Seagulls a bit of a miss. The last couple of years because of the bubble with COVID and all that. Now, the game on Sunday was moved to Valleys, thanks to Valleys for accommodating this game here. Panthers up against the Seagulls. The Seagulls were in 4th. The Panthers were on 4th as well, 4 and against. Panthers had to win by 14. They just weren't good enough. But considering the conditions of Emerson Park, this is a quality game of rugby league. I had the pleasure of calling this one for... And 16 points to 10, they just kept their distance, the Seagulls, and they're too good, and they'll take on the Capras.
Well, yeah, one of the main things of the Wynnum Manly Seagulls side in the BMD Premiership this year has been their defence. They've been one of the better defensive sides of the competition all year, and that really proved today. They had 92 against for the whole year, which is really impressive for them. It's equal second best in the competition. So Wynnum Manly Seagulls just proving their defence is up to semi-final and finals football, and we'll get to see that on display again as they progress. But unfortunately, the Panthers bow out in their last season of the competition, John.
They do. They become Norths next year because of the alignment with the Hostplus Cup sides. But I caught up with Wynnum Manly's captain, Patrice Chambers, and Patrice Chambers talked about last weekend and what they can expect this weekend. The BMD Premiership wrapped up last weekend, round 7, and we still didn't know who the top 4 were. The Wynnum Manly Seagulls took on the West Brisbane Panthers. Seagulls had a 14-point better for and against, and they hung on and won against a determined Panther side. Joining me is their hooker from the Wynnum Manly Seagulls, Patrice Chambers. How are you, Patrice?
Yeah, feeling good.
You've played a lot of footy. I'm not saying how old you are. You played a lot of footy, but have you ever played in muddy conditions like that ever before?
No, not that muddy before, but looking at some of the other pictures from the weekend, I think we had it pretty good there, so pretty grateful.
I got to mention, I said it in the call, and actually as a commentator's curse, every time I said this, I thought the handling was exceptional from both sides considering the conditions. As soon as I said that, somebody dropped it, but considering it was amazing.
Yeah, I was comparing it in when I thought after the game, compared to our round 1 against Burleigh when it was raining pretty heavy. Our control of the footy was actually really good compared to that round 1. Yeah, so I was happy with that.
So talking about up the middle, I don't know what happened with Annette Brander, but she was out to actually kill a lot of people on the weekend. Geez, there's some big hits.
Yeah, there was some big hits, and I think I don't know, you kind of second guess the way you plant your feet when you run to, because you think you're going to slip over as well. So it's a bit hit and miss there.
And I also spoke to Kimmy Hunt. I said, why are you running into the biggest players on the park? She said, well, that's my job. So that's the way it goes. But the interesting part about your game now was that you used your outside players very effectively to help your forwards get through a long game of football. And I thought Kimmy Hunt, all your backs did a great job. And I thought that was very well done by Trouty and made your job a little bit easier with your forwards.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that the girls have really worked hard on is our transition set. So after a kick, getting out of our own half, the girls did. I think Kimmy especially found her front pretty well, and a lot of meters straight off that. Yeah.
Yeah, the quick play ball certainly the thing. You're up against the Capras now. This is the semi-final. The Capras, they haven't been in the semi-finals before. You're new to the competition as well. So 8-4, nothing in it. A try apiece the last time you played them at BMD Cougarai, was it, or did you play up there?
No, we played at Cougarai.
Cougarai. So you got to go up there. So you're away at Rockhampton. So there's nothing in it. So there's no reason why you can't beat these guys. They got rolled last weekend.
Yeah, I think last time we played them, we kind of gave them a lot of the ball. So we made a lot of errors, like a lot of mistakes that, we can control. Whereas, we just didn't execute where we needed to. So I think the last couple of weeks we've had a lot more consistency in our team. So, I think we'll be able to do that this weekend.
All right. And what do you think you need to improve on from last weekend? Sunscreen? That'd be handy.
Yeah, sunscreen probably. I think maybe just the push around the footy. So like pushing up on both sides and defensively, like our marker work as well. After it gets to that a little bit further into the game, once a fatigue starts to set in, everyone gets a little bit lazy. I'm one for it as well. So I need to put my hand up and say, like our marker work, just defensively, little things that we can fix.
All right. How did you go injury-wise? I know Kimmy Hunt had a bit of an ice pack on her knee, but considering the conditions, I thought there's probably more bruises and gravel rash.
Yeah, a lot of bruises at training I've seen. I think a lot of people had like big scratches as well from like footy boots and stuff. So, but everyone pulled up pretty well, I think. Yeah.
It's the end of an era for the Panthers, and also the reason that was their last game, the last time they actually played at Emerson Park, they won a grand final. But I just want to say quickly a shout out to Valleys for allowing this game to go ahead for yourself and the Panthers. I thought it was very good from Danny Walker and the committee to have that game there.
Yeah, that's awesome for them to let us have the game there. And also, I want to give a shout out to West, being a former West girl myself. It's sad to that it's the end of an era for the girls, but they've done some awesome things over the years and something to definitely look back and be proud of.
All right. Speaking of that game, I thought Amy Turner was very good. She scored that first try. She's the smallest player on the park, yet she had the longest reach. Yeah, and also the attitude as well, to push up as well and put the pressure on. It's players like that you look up to and, you aspire to be just because of those little things, the 1%ers that they do. S.A. Banu, has she got a death wish? Why do you say that? Just ran all day, hard and fast. I won't say she's an aggressive player. She plays a strong game of rugby league, but she never shied away from her workload, did she? When she came on or when she finished, you couldn't tell the difference from her first sit-up and her last sit-up. It was just so much energy. Yeah, she's definitely one of our toughest players that we have in our team for sure. And she just didn't hold back. And I think that's one thing that we love about her is she just goes all day. She doesn't stop. Right. Good luck this weekend. This is the, I suppose the grand final qualifier. I don't really know how you call these, what they call these semi-finals, considering it's 1v4 and 2v3. But you're up against the Capras, 1 p.m. at 3 p.m. against the Capras up in Rockhampton. Good luck. Patrice Chambers, you're the captain of the side. I think your speech before the game will hold the key to this victory. Yeah, I've got to think of a good one now before I head out there. Sometimes it's so, I feel so rushed, and then other people add things. I'm like, oh, I should have said that. So I think I'll have a good hard think before we kick off this weekend, and
hopefully hype the girls up and inspire them to hopefully get the win.
Just get in the huddle there and listen to Trout. He won't be able to see him over all of you tall people, but I'm sure he'll be able to help you out there. Patrice Chambers, congratulations last weekend. The first year in the competition, you're into the semi-finals, up against the Capras, 8-4 last time. No reason why you can't go away. And the Seagulls, well, they're an iconic club, and you're the captain of one of those sides, so congratulations on that front as well.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Good on you, Patrice. I'll let you go. You're obviously in a double park. We'll let you get out of there before you get booked.
No, it's all good.
Good on you, Patrice.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks there to Patrice Chambers giving us her time and still getting some mud out of her headgear. Mate, the semi-finals this weekend, you caught up with, for the very first time, Lee Addison from rugbyleaguecoach.com to talk about the women's game.
Yeah, caught up with Lee Addison, tracked him down, gave him a big tackle, and we spoke about the BMD Premiership for the first time. So this is my conversation with the daddy. Yes, that's right. I'm back with Leroy Addison, aka the Daddy, here to talk about BMD Premiership and another rugbyleaguecoach.com.au breakdown. Mate, who are we looking at today?
The Capras and the Bears, because they played each other, I think that was last week, the game, and because they're playing different opponents, I found different things, so it was just the one clip. Can I just say, it was so refreshing to watch the ladies' game after watching so much of the men's game this year for Queensland League Scene for our, what is today, our 12th episode. I mean, how they've kept us going, I don't know. We must be paying somebody off somewhere. One thing I did notice is that I do feel that the ladies' game, because it's new, because it's refreshing, their approach to it, they're bringing new things to the game, and the standard of coaching I saw was really good, and I can't wait to unwrap this for all the viewers. Okay, so we're going to look at the Capras exit first. So I've taken a couple of exit sets. Now, what they've done here to me is there's few too many overs lines. Can you see when they run how they're skipping out to the outside shoulder, or as we look at the screen, they're skipping to the right shoulder of the defenders constantly? It looks to me that may have been a ploy, but I feel they are better when they run direct out of exit. So they've exited out here, clearly wrapping across the field, but the two runs that we've just seen from both ladies have been really direct. Both have landed on the front, both have made good meters. Now, the kick gets away. Actually, it was quite easily fielded. It was a good kick, but it was quite easily fielded. Now, let's look at this set that is coming from a very similar position. I think you'll find that most girls are quite direct. Now, they probably went a little bit too close to the play the ball there. They actually got tackled by markers, but watch how the set unfolds. Nice and direct, running some unders, some go forward. Even though she was effectively under control by the defender, she still landed in a good spot. Unders lines, good go forward. Look, we're near the halfway line already by tackle 3. Effectively 2 carbon copy sets, and they have both had slightly different types of run around the ruck, and this is how important, and I want the viewers to know, that how you run around the ruck can be. Now look at this direct running off the half 2. Look at those meters. Now we're looking at them in what we call good ball, which most teams sort of define as the opposition 40 metres or 30 metres. In the Hostplus Cup, there's a couple of teams that I've been saying they need to look up, look for space, get in better shape. Have a look at the shape of these Capras and have a look at where the eyes are focused of many of the players. Maybe they've got a fantastic coach and this is what he's coaching them, but I noticed that there was a massive difference there. Us men, when we play the game, we're a bit stuck in our ways. We've been doing it a lot longer than the ladies have. We tend to be in old habits that are hard to shake. The girls' game is getting bigger and better every year, and they're bringing something new from what I can see there. The good ball play, they've wrapped across the field, they've shifted the ball back, and bang, look at this. Good unders lines and squeezing in the corner. Now, what I need the viewer to know is that in a minute I'm going to switch it and we're going to look at the opposition from the same game. And this is the clip where I'm going to switch it. Can you see how compressed the Capras defence is here? I really like that. It shows coaching, it shows a methodology. However, the Bears expose this in a minute, so I'm going to show you the clip again. Now we're going to look at the attack of the Bears. Watch what the Bears do. They take a ball almost 10 metres in, not quite the scrum line yet. The next play is a +1, and it almost goes to the middle, certainly near the scrum line. Now I call this, and I've heard this called a chain set. Because of that +1 there, Burley get on the outside. Okay? Now, I have slowed it down a little bit here. What Capras needed to do here was get their numbers right either side of the play the ball, and the right wing just checked a tiny bit there. She checked, turned her hips in, and that was enough for Burley to get goal forward. Now, we're going to switch and we're going to look at the Burley attack. And look how enterprising they are. They're doing that chain set, that link set. They're going back to the middle. And I think the Capras opposition this week, if they can do something similar, they're going to put in, do you like this word? I'm going to come up with some discombobulation into the Capras defence, because they've got a compressed defence. So when you're playing against a compressed defence, you either need to have really good decoy runners that hold the defence up, or option runners, or you need to move them around. And that was a great example of how they move them around. We're going to look at the same set again now, twice. For the second time. We're now going to look at how Burley defended it. So we've seen this set already. For those who are playing against Burley, I actually think their attack is a little bit better than their defence, and I don't think, to me, it looks like they might have spent subtly 2, 3, 5, 10% less time on their defence. The rucks are quite quick. They seem to be susceptible to direct running. The split here and the spacings in and around the play the ball seem a little bit off to me. The Capras are getting good goal forward there because the spacings in defence are wide. And I talked about the Capras right wing checking in a little bit. Have a look at the Burley right wing now. She's a little bit behind the line. She checks in a tiny bit, and then she's just at 6s and 7s, and she concedes the try. So, look, overall, those two teams going into the semi-finals this week, Taylor, really well coached. Burley in particular, their attack, I thought they exploited that Capras compressed defence really well. They went through fits and starts of doing that. The Capras are really like their compressed defence. They just need some extra repetition, I think, on getting the split right when somebody moves the ball to the middle quickly. Because when you move the ball +1 to the middle, the defence has to quickly readjust, but they have to readjust when somebody's put a dent in your line, when some defenders have been taken out. So that means some from the one side of the field have to cross to the other. And I would like them to spend a bit more time on their edge defenders, just making sure they keep their hips square. When they are exiting, I think a bit more of that direct play. Wider of the ruck and running unders. Get away from those markers, run some unders lines, get the shoulder contact front on, find the floor. 2 sets there, I think we saw a subtle difference. Even the kick at the end of the set was better.
All right, there's some tips from Lee Addison, rugbyleaguecoach.com.au. Some positives for the women's game overall. Some really expansive and beautiful rugby league being played. Make sure you get out and watch the BMD Premiership this weekend. And if you do need any coaching, any tips as a player or a coach, make sure you contact Lee at rugbyleaguecoach.com.au.
The daddy does good. We'll get him next week to talk about the grand final as well, but well done for Lee getting us all the goss on this weekend's game. The Capras up against the Seagulls. Last time these two sides met, Taylor Brown, 1 try piece, 8-4 to the Capras at BMD Cougar Oval. This time they're at Brown Park, 1v4. Capras got rolled last week against the Bears. How do you see this one?
Yeah, it was a quality match when they did play against each other the first time. Look, I think this is going to be really tightly contested. Capras certainly have a lot of attacking flair, especially through Bennett, their fullback, and Mariah Storch, their 5'8" and captain. They have that attacking flair, and look, Wynnum have that impenetrable defence. It seems to just be, it must be an organisational thing, because from the top down, they have a really quality defensive system at the Seagulls. I think this will be a very tightly contested clash. But if I'm telling the truth, I think the Capras will get it done. I like the Capras this year.
Yeah, they might bounce back. They are at home, as we mentioned before here, but the Seagulls, look, they're a young side. They're new. I just like to see them. Banu up the middle was very strong last weekend. They're going to have to beat them in the middle as well, but Storch and company are out wide. It'll be a classic Jessica Powell. She's a handy centre 3/4 as well. I'm thinking of leaning the same way as you, Taylor. I think the Capras might just get there because of their season form, and they won't want that loss last week would have hurt. This weekend, the other game, the Bears up against the All-Stars. Last time, the Bears got absolutely pumped 40 points to 26 back in round 4, and that was at Country Bank Stadium in Townsville.
Yeah, this will be a very interesting clash. As we know, they played against each other and the Bears got absolutely demolished. But if there's one thing we've learned about the Burleigh Bears and the BMD Premiership the last couple of seasons, they turn it on when the time comes to crunch. And this is certainly crunch time, semi-finals. And I think the Bears will get it done.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Bears are hitting at the right time. They don't have Tani Norris there anymore as a head coach. So she's moved up obviously to coach the Origin side here, but they've certainly got some quality coaching stuff there. This is a busy park, 1:30 Sunday afternoon. Should be a beauty. I'm going to lean with you. I think 1 and 2 will progress to the final, so there you go.
We agree, across the board.
Crazy. All right. Very goodly. To wrap up, Hostplus Cup, only the one game this weekend, Taylor Brown up at Tully between the Magpies and the Pride. The Pride, well, she's bounced back last week with the draw against the Falcons. The Magpies, mate, this could go anyway.
Yeah, it really could. I think the Pride will be buoyed by that last outing against the Falcons. And the Magpies do have to do that travelling to Tully. It's not as easy as the Cairns trip where you just go straight from the airport to the ground. They've got that extra drive on top. I think it's about an hour to Tully from there. So I believe that it will be a Pride win.
Yeah, last time they met, 26 points to 16 last year in Mackay, or in Cairns, you should say. All right, well, that's a wrap up for Queensland League Scene for another week. Your chef for dinner tonight, mate. Where are we going?
Yeah, look, I think I've just spoken to Leroy off air. I think we'll have a nice little curry tonight. A nice little curry. I think the English have a habit of putting curry on chips. It's an old English thing, but I won't be doing that, that's for sure. If I want hot chips, I'll get hot chips. I want a curry, I'll have a curry.
MasterChef brought to you by Queensland League Scene. See you all next week. Enjoy your footy. Get in, watch the BMD Premiership if you can. Get down to Pizzey Park. We'll be up in Rockhampton and have a look as well. And we'll be back with the grand final next week with Lee Addison, myself, Taylor Brown, and John Devine and Kel on the tools. See you next week.